Hi everybody, we're gonna do B5792 Butterick. I'm doing this one. Now I did it before. I'm doing a small top, just because the medium gave me some bulk right here. It kind of puffed out. So I'm gonna go to a small. The pants, oh, and on the top, I put my tucks inside because if you don't have a lot of bust, it just makes it look kind of funny. So, but this time I'm gonna do the tucks outside. The pants, I'm gonna do the elastic plus a drawstring because I like the drawstring. And so what you need is some butcher twine for the gathering for the shirt. You're gonna need 3/4 inch elastic for the pants. You're gonna need some single wide bias tape. And a marker, pins. So I'm gonna start with the pants first. Now the pants I'm doing a medium because the small was a little tight. So that is piece 8 and 9. And this is what I'm doing in this material. So we're gonna start with the pants first. And like I said, I am changing it around a little because this does not usually have a drawstring, but I'm just gonna make a drawstring out of my spare fabric material. Okay, the front, what I do, now the front pieces, so I know they're the front, I put a safety pin. If I can find my safety pins. I had them out. I have to look for them. Okay, with my front piece, I put a safety pin. I couldn't find my bigger ones. I only found one. But I just pin it so I know that this is the front piece. And I'll probably have to make a bobbin. So I just pin it. I just put a safety pin in, just so I know this is the front. Okay, let me make a bobbin because I think I don't have enough on this, maybe for a couple things. So you're gonna get a piece of 9 and 8, so back and front. And you're gonna sew it right at the inner legs. So here's my back. And my front, because it's got the pin on it. Let me be sure I got the right piece. Let me see. And at the inner leg, I'm getting used to using my thumb again, so might take me a little bit. So there's a notch, so you want to match that notch up. It's raining. They say that we're supposed to get a lot of rain this weekend. So pin this up. It's a 5/8 seam allowance, and you're gonna back stitch at the top and at the bottom where you begin. So you have a piece like this. Just be sure you got one of your front pieces and one of your back pieces. Thumb doesn't want to work yet. All right, I'm looking for my safety pin to be sure. Okay, and sew this at 5/8. And back stitch. I think I'm gonna run out of bobbin. And then you're going to do the other one the same way. I'm getting my machine cleaned and all next week because it's knocking a little. So get your other one and do it the same way. And if you want, you can press your seams open. Pin at your inner leg. This is really material's gonna be really hard to mark my tucks for the shirt. It's hard to find anything to see the marks on it. Okay. So 5/8, beginning and end, back stitch. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, once you have that done, I'm just gonna press open my seam. It is pouring. If lightning comes or thunder, I gotta shut down. Okay, there's one leg. Here's the other leg. Just press your seams open. Okay, take one of your legs, and now you're going to sew up the sides. And there's a notch. So match your notch. These are really nice lounging pajamas, and I like to make them so even if like the neighbor or something comes over, I feel like I'm not really in pajamas. And they're just really comfortable. Drop the pin. Don't want to step on that. Okay, so you're going to sew this up 5/8, and then you're going to sew up the other one exactly the same way. Just be sure you get it pretty flat. Okay, I'll sew this one up and then I'll make a new bobbin and I'll be back. Okay, now take one of your pants legs and open it up to the right side. Okay, and this has got my pin, so I know that's the front. So be sure you put this on the front. Let me find my pin right there. Cool. That's the front. So we know it's going this way. Okay. And then you're going to pin all the way around the crotch area. So there's my pin and there's my pin. All right, so match up your notches. And pin away. Okay, get your seams even. And pin them together. And this is going to be a 5/8 seam allowance. And then you're going to come back right at the U and do 3/8. Come to the next side. Match your notch. Ooh, that rain is coming down. Get those corners right at the edge. And after I do this, I'm going to get a cup of coffee. Okay, so you have something that looks like this. So you're going to sew this whole U at 5/8 and back stitch at the beginning and at the end. Okay, let me get around and then I'll show you where we do the 3/8. Okay, once you have that done, probably about maybe 4 inches, 3 inches, do a 3/8 stitch, and that reinforces the crotch area. So just keep going around. Get to the center and do another 3 inches and back stitch. My sewing machine is messing up here. Okay, I'm gonna take some pinking shears and I'm just gonna cut right near that 3/8. And then I gotta check my tension on my sewing machine. Okay, so you just have a little cut right there. Okay. Once you get that done, just put everything to the right side and look. Okay. Okay, there's my pin and there's my pin. So this is my right side. Okay. Now we're gonna work on the waist. First, I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee and check my tension. And while I'm doing that, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're gonna do the waist. So put your pajama pants inside out and come to the ironing board. Okay, let me get that back there a little. And you're gonna iron these seams opened. Now a trick to keep these flat, once you start putting your elastic and your tie through, if you want to do the tie, you want to get some of this stitch witchery. And you're gonna take, let me see, I'll tell you, probably about a 4-inch piece. And you're gonna lay it down. And then you're gonna press it on. And you do that to both sides. And you do it to every seam. See, and then it can't come up. The pin can't get stuck. So you just place it down. You might have to push it in a little if it's a little too wide. Okay, then go to your next seam and do the exact same thing. So I'll get these done, because you don't need to see me doing all the seams. But you just rip it off and place it down. And then just keep going. Okay, once you get that done, we're gonna turn under about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going about 1/2, I think. A little less than 1/2. Okay, and get that turned all the way around. And then I'll show you what to do afterwards. Get some of this string off of there. Okay, once you get that done, you're going to turn down. Okay, this is my front right here. I'm just trying to, because I'm going to show you 2 different ways. Okay, this is my front. Okay. Okay, now if you want to do the elastic and the ties, this is my front. Be sure you feel your pin. And you're going to turn down what you normally would turn down, which is probably about 1 inch. I'm going to do about 1.25 inches, just to give me some room for the elastic and the tie. So turn this down. And remember, be in your front. Then come back, turn this over, and you're gonna mark where you want 2 buttonholes. So I'm gonna go from my seam. This is my front seam right here. And just be sure there's my safety pin. And there's my safety pin. Okay. And I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch away. And right in the middle, so about 3/4. And 1/4 inch away, I'm going to make a line. And then I'm going to do it on the other side. Here's 1/4. Okay. And just draw a line. Okay. So you have these 2 lines. Now you're going to go make buttonholes. Now, if you don't want to make buttonholes, just keep turning this around and pressing it. And you're going to leave a spot in the back, not right on the seam, but a little ways. You're going to leave about an inch space, not sewn, so you can put your elastic through. If you do the buttonholes, I usually just put my elastic through my buttonhole. So let me go make my buttonholes. I gotta find my buttonhole maker. Okay, and I'll be back. Okay, when you're gonna make your buttonhole, take a scrap piece of material and make one first, so you know you got everything right. Okay, so here's my, it's hard to see, there's my buttonhole. And then I just take my seam ripper, if you can find one around here. I got such a mess. And open it up. So don't go right at the edge of it, but just a little bit. And then open it up. Now you want your buttonholes to go this way, not up and down. You want them to go sideways, just like this. Okay, so find your marks. Find my marks right there. And make your buttonholes. Okay, so I got my buttonholes made. So now just come back to the ironing board. And you're going to turn everything under and pin it. And afterwards, I can take my pins, my safety pins out, because I know this is the front now. If you don't do the buttonholes, take a little scrap of material. And let me get some scissors. And cut about maybe 1.5 inches wide. Maybe by 3.5, 3. And you're going to fold it in half so you have a mark. Then fold your raw edge to the middle and do it to the other side. And then turn it on each other and sew down that seam line. So you have a piece like this. And then on the back, you can sew a little tab on it to show that that's the back. That's one easy way. If you have like a little sticker you can put on it, you can do that. So measure this, I think I said 1 1/4. Yep. Put more water in here. and then sew all the way around if you do the buttonhole. If you didn't do the buttonhole, leave that opening on the back for the elastic to go through. And sometimes I do it both ways. So just keep turning this. I'll show you when I get to the back what I do. Okay, let me see. There's my buttonholes. Okay, this is going to be my back right here on this seam. So let me get them turned down. Okay, you don't want to do the elastic on the seam. So, you know, get a couple inches away. So about right in here. And double pin. Get this down. And then give yourself about an inch and double pin. So you're going to start sewing here and ending here, which will leave the hole right here to put your elastic through. And like I said, if you did the buttonhole, just sew the whole thing. Unless you want to do it both ways. I'll do it both ways just to show you. So get this all turned down. Okay, let me get this done and then I'll be back. Okay, start at the furthest double pin and you're going to sew real close to this edge. And go all the way around and back stitch just a couple stitches. And just keep going around and I'll be back. Okay, when you get to the next double pins, just back stitch. Okay, so now you have a hole. Now what I usually do, these scissors are so dull. Okay, I go back and I iron. Oops, sorry. I iron my band because I'm going to do a top stitch on the top. And I want to be sure that this is all nice and flat. It only takes you a second. And then you're going to just about 1/8 of an inch away, or as close as you can get, you're going to sew right there. I mean, real close, but don't go over it. Okay, so you'll have something like this. So now get your elastic gotta get one of my pins off because I can't find my other. I had a ton of them. So get your pins off. Be sure you marked your back so you know which one's your back. Oh, there's the other one. Okay. Then get your elastic. And you're just going to put it through. And then you're going to try your pants on. Because don't ever take where they say it's like so many inches, and I just try them on. So this is 3/4 inch. So where your hole is, just start threading through. And this top stitch will help it from not turning. And you can see it goes right through those seams because you ironed those, you know, stuck them down. Okay, keep going. Oh, it's tangled up here. Here we go. Okay, then give yourself a little slack. Get my thumb to work. Come on now. Where's my, oh, I'm not even at the hole yet. Okay. So give yourself a little slack. So I'm going to give myself about that much. And pin these two together. And then go try them on. And then you'll see where you need to tighten or loosen. So let me go try these on. Oops. And I'll be right back. Okay, once you got it, give yourself about 2 inches because you're gonna overlap these. You don't want to sew it like this because that'll leave a bump. But if you overlap, it'll be nice and smooth. So I just put my stuff behind my machine. And then I sew up the ends. Go to the next one. And I back stitch a couple times. Okay, so then you have a piece like this. Okay, then just push it in. And get your, just kind of stretch it out. Okay, then come back and where your hole is, just pin it and sew it. Just pin it and sew it. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, so then, there you go. Okay, to hem these, just turn them inside out. And just like the waist, open up your seam, turn under a quarter, and then like an inch, and sew it all the way around. I'm gonna make the tie. I'll show you how to do that. So I just use the scrap material that I have from this. This doesn't come with a strap or a tie. I found my two big safety pins I was looking for. Okay, so get a long piece of the scrap that you have left. It doesn't matter which way it's going. Nobody's going to see it. Let me get this rolled up off the floor. Okay. Another safety pin. Okay, let me find some. I had some in here. Down at the bottom. Okay. So that's about a yard long, a little bit shorter. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 1.5 inches wide. And we're going to do it just like I showed you how to make that little tie or that little mark for the back. Okay, let me see if I do. Let me do 2 inch. And 1.5. Okay, get down here. And then I can cut it in half. This is going to fold. I'm going to cut this too because I got to cut off a little of the fold. So, get this in half. Get it as straight as you can. Okay. Then I'm going to cut this. well, so we'll have 2 pieces. So once you cut it, just open it, because I was on the fold, so I gotta do it this way. And then you're going to sew these 2 pieces together right at the end. And that's going to give you enough tie. And you can try, if you have to add more, you can. It's just strips. So back stitch beginning and end. So you're going to have this strip, and what you can do is just, so that's going to be enough. Okay, so at each end of this, you're going to turn over just a little. Let me get this even. See how my other end is. Like I said, this was scrap. Okay. So, you know, whatever, like an inch, half inch, whatever. Then you're going to iron this in half the long way. It's just going to guide you where you have to put your ends. So just iron this. And everybody's been asking me about my cordless iron. It's a Panasonic. Open up this seam so it lays flat. It's a Panasonic for quilting. In Panasonic. And it's cordless. My daughter got it for me. I think she got it off Amazon. That's where she gets all her stuff. Okay. Then come back and fold this, the one raw edge, to the line. And press that all the way down. And then do the other side the exact same way. And with my ties, I usually clip because the pins are just, they fall out and stuff because it's so narrow. So let me get this part done. Okay, then get your clips and you're going to fold this one on top of the other side. Try to get it as even as you can. And just clip away once you get it. And then you're going to sew real close to this edge. And it's easier if you start in the middle and go to one end and then come back and start from the middle and do to the other end. Okay, let me get this part done. Come back to the sewing machine. And that is my seam. So I want to start like a little above that so the machine won't have trouble going through. And right on that edge, sew. And keep sewing all the way down. Okay, once you get done with that, come back. I'm going to turn it around and start sewing where you ended off. You can back stitch. Okay, and then go down the next side. Get this done. Okay, so here's your tie. Right here. So just take a safety pin, grab your pants, find your buttonholes, which are right here, and thread this through like you did the elastic. And it's so much easier using that witchery, stitch witchery, because it just puts all those seams down so you're not struggling trying to get your safety pin through. So just keep going. And then you can just knot the ends. So, you know, they don't pull out. Usually they don't, but his thumb's getting a workout tonight. I gotta use it or I'll lose it. So, okay, find your other buttonhole and come out. Okay. Just kind of get them even. Right here. And you can just tie a little knot or just a little. Probably made that one a little bit too long. Okay, just like that. All right, now we just have to hem. And like I said before, it's just like the waistband. Now you can do, I can try on this. Last night I used my little ironing board. It just works out a lot better. I got this off of Amazon for $10. It's a sleeve ironing board, but it works really good for like pant legs and stuff. get some pins. And you're gonna turn over, let's see what I'm turning over, about a 1/2 inch. And you're gonna do this to both legs. And then measure your legs to be sure they're not off. So it's about a 1/2 inch. And then I'm gonna turn up an inch. And then tomorrow night, I'll do the shirt or the top that goes with this. And with the top, I think I mentioned, I put my tucks in before because I don't have a lot of boobage, but I'm gonna do them on the outside. Okay, so once you get that done, I'm gonna go about an inch. Okay, press that down and pin it. And then do your other leg and measure to be sure you're even. And then they are done. So I'll get this done. And then I'll put them on and show you. Let me get this done. Okay, so here they are. And there's the tie. Okay, so that's it for the pants of B5792 Butterick with the tie. And I think that was F. Yeah, number F. So there's that. Tomorrow I'll do the top. It's just getting late and I gotta let my thumb kind of rest a little. So, I will do the drawing July 4th for all that stuff. Don't forget to go on there and type me in the comments. And that's about it. You all have a good night. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow for the top. Y'all have a good night.